Hey everyone, it's Brandon. I'm back with another Big Brother Spoilers intro. Today's guest is Zae Frederich from Big Brother 26, the very first house guest evicted this season, and he's here to set the record straight about his short but unforgettable time in the house. We talk all about what it was like being the first boot, how he's adjusted back to real life, and the fan reactions since his eviction. Zae also opens up about his casting journey, from using ChatGPT to study the game before moving in, to his connection with Survivor 43 Sammy, and what Sammy really thought of his game. Of course, we dive into BB27, his thoughts on Rachel's dominance, the twists, and which players are surprising him now that he's watching from home. He even reveals his winner pick, talks about those viral moments with Riley and Zach, and shares what it feels like to be officially part of the First Out Club. Finally, Zae reflects on life after Big Brother, whether he'd do other reality shows, and if he'd come back for another redemption season. This one has it all. Honestly, humor, behind-the-scenes insight, and a fresh perspective on Big Brother 27. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so let's talk about life after the house. So you've been out of the house for 6 weeks now, back in the real world. So what's been the most challenging part of transitioning back to a normal life after the show? I imagine you're really busy still.
Yeah, honestly, it's just the difference in my life now versus before the show. I think my purpose and the things I'm trying to do are very different. Right now versus, before the show, kind of adjusting. I think the social media was a little bit difficult, like adjusting, I don't know, seeing all this stuff circulating, reading stuff about me. It's weird, because I wasn't used to that before.
And how has that fan response been since your eviction? Have people been supportive, critical, or has there been a mix?
I think honestly in the community, there's always a mix for every person pretty much. I'll see comments about anybody in the house and people are like, oh, I love that person, my favorite I've ever seen. And then you see people that are like, oh, that person's the worst. So, I mean, I think I had people that hated me, I had people that loved me, and it was it's just normal. It was a little weird because I don't feel like I've really had haters before. I don't feel like I really had people that didn't like me before. I feel like I just kind of get along with most of the people I meet in day-to-day life. And so it's weird to go back and see people be like, oh man, this guy's so annoying. I hate this guy. I'm like, whoa, what'd I do to you, man? It's weird to see that, but it's just part of the game. It's part of what you get into when you go on a reality TV show.
And have your friends and family have they teased you at all about being the first out, or have they been supportive of you?
Everyone's pretty supportive. It's one of those things, it happens. I mean, sure, we'll joke about it. I'll joke about it. It sucks, but nobody's really held it against me. Oh man, you're I don't know. No one talks trash on me because of it really. Cause it's just one of the things that happens sometimes, someone's first out. It's just unfortunate, but yeah.
And being back out in the real world, have you been recognized a lot from the show?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of the time when I go out, just anywhere, it'll be random things. There's one time at Winco where I was at 1 a.m. and you were like, yo, are you Zae from Big Brother? I was like, yeah. And so it's super cool to see people from the show, at the airports, pretty much anywhere I go, I'll see people that recognize me from the show. That's super cool to see that. And you already know you have that in common, that you of the show, they've watched me. And I don't know, it's just a cool experience.
And what did you know about Big Brother before going on the show? What did you watch of Big Brother?
I just watched one season. So I watched season 26. I never watched a show before going through casting. And so obviously I was new to a lot of the stuff, which a lot of people did hate me for, because the fans are very, they're in. And so a lot of times they don't like it when people aren't in. And so I was definitely a newer fan of the show. I do like the show. I think it's cool. But I don't have the most experience or knowledge about Big Brother.
And I saw the other day that you didn't know what BB Comics was. Has someone filled you in since then?
Honestly, no. They were supposed to on the live. I know it's I think from season 26. Again, when I was watching it, there was so much going on. Because I was going through the whole casting process. I think I missed a lot of stuff. But from what I remember, I think it was it was each person, something about their personality is portrayed in a comic, and then one of the challenges or something like that, if I remember correctly, but I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah, you get the gist of it. But
is that what it is?
So what? Yeah, that's the gist of it. So what is your casting story? How did you end up on Big Brother?
Yeah, so I applied for The Amazing Race with my buddy Sammy. He was on Survivor 43. And then they reached out and said, oh, Sammy's on Survivor. We won't take you guys on that. But we loved your guys' application. Would you consider the show Big Brother? And I was like, I've never really watched it, but I would consider it. So I started going to casting. They put me in touch with the casting director. I called, did the FaceTimes, and then from there I did normal casting. So I was meeting a bunch of Zoom meetings with all the casting people, the producers, executives, flying out to LA, meeting everybody in person. all that good stuff.
And even though you were the first boot in Big Brother, are you happy you ended up doing Big Brother, or would you rather have done The Amazing Race?
I mean, Amazing Race would be sick. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't think I would be out first on Amazing Race. But I'm just glad I got to do something. You know, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Like, it was so cool. Big Brother's awesome. Like, I'm glad I got to be part of the culture, part of the community. I think it was so cool. But I mean, I still love to do Amazing Race. I'm not gonna lie. It's always been like one of my favorite reality TV shows. So I'm not gonna act like, you know, like I am an Amazing Race hater now or anything. But I think Amazing Race is dope. I think Big Brother's dope. I'm glad I got to do Big Brother. I'd still do Amazing Race in the future if it's an opportunity.
And I don't know if you saw it, The Amazing Race this fall is all Big Brother teams. So if they did a all Survivor
Big Brother, yeah.
edition, so if they did an all Survivor edition,
That
and
is
Sammy
crazy.
had to bring on, if Sammy had to bring on a loved one or a friend, if they did a Survivor edition, that you would be down for that?
So down. I would be so down. We would win too. I wouldn't be first boot. I promise. If I was, I would give up on reality TV at that point. I'd be like, all right, I suck, so I'm done.
And what did Sammy think of your gameplay? Was he able to watch, or was he busy with other projects he was doing?
He watched a lot. No, he was binge watching stuff. I mean, it was just, you know, I think he was about on the same page as me. It's just unfortunate events, you know, a lot of stuff. Maybe I didn't do the best. Like, I didn't win the challenges when I needed to, or the competitions. But like, a lot of it was just kind of unfortunate stuff, you know, like people thought I was the accomplice. And that led from one thing to another. I got on the block. It was a physical threat. People said, being on the block week 1, it's like really easy to do that. You know, it's just like so many things happened just like that were kind of worst case scenario for me all in the first week that just kind of led up to it. And I think he knows that. Like, he kind of told me it was unfortunate. You know, it wasn't one of the things like I did something super bad that everyone hated me and wanted me out or anything like that. It was just an unfortunate series of events. I happened to be the first one that went.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Sammy watched, but I know Sammy was busy on other shows.
He does a lot. He does a lot of stuff. But yeah, he was binge watching when I was on. I mean, it wasn't too much time to watch, but.
So how did your friendship with Sammy come to be? Did you guys go to college together, just growing up in Utah? How do you know Sammy?
Yeah, so actually neither of us grew up in Utah. I grew up in Kentucky, and then he grew up in Vegas. But we actually met once at like a sales meeting thing, but it was so brief. Never thought I'd see him again. He never thought he'd see me again. And then we both tried out for the BYU cheer team together. And then we both cheered last year together. And we bonded a lot because we were the only two people on the team that had never cheered before. Like, we were both like the newbies. And so we bonded a lot, and we were just like very similar vibes. Like, we just got along really well. And so we bonded a lot doing cheer. And then he became like one of my best friends, you know, over the course of the year. And then that's when we like decided we wanted to apply together.
And you'd mentioned that you used ChatGPT to learn about Big Brother before going in. What kind of advice did ChatGPT give you, and did you use that advice in the house?
Yeah, I had a feeling that'd be one of the questions that people wanted to hear. So honestly, I kind of said that as more of like a joke when I was in the house, like, oh yeah, I use ChatGPT, but it's kind of a joke. I did actually I do love ChatGPT. I did use it, but I was mostly just asking it about like previous winners, trends, things like that. And honestly, what I learned from that, in my opinion, is that you can't have a set strategy going into the house, because I realized that it's so broad. Every season is so different, is what I learned from ChatGPT, that I went into the house and I said, okay, I just want to go in and kind of adjust in the moment to the situation and not have a rigid strategy. Because if I do, then I feel like the people that walk in there with a super rigid strategy, the people every season are so different, everything's so different that it doesn't usually work out for them really well. And I guess obviously what I didn't work out for me super well, but I think if I would have lasted a little bit longer and just kind of being able to adjust in the moment would have helped me.
And did your expectations of the game match the reality once you stepped in the house?
I mean, honestly, I didn't really have too many expectations. Like, I guess like the expectations I did have were exceeded. Like, everything was so cool. It was so awesome, such an amazing experience overall. That, you know, it was so sick. So I say every expectation I did have was exceeded by my experience, except for the fact that I wanted to stay longer than I did. You know, that was obviously really disappointing. I still think about it a lot. The fact that I had this super cool opportunity, and I really do think that if I would have lasted longer, a lot of people would probably disagree with this, but I really do think I would have made a good run if I would have even lasted past that first week. But again, you know, it's just the way it happened is, you know, it was unfortunate, and I was out week 1. So that was unfortunate, but my expectations other than that were all exceeded.
And did your eviction come as a blindside to you, or did you see it coming?
I was going back and forth like every day would switch up. Like every day I was like, dang, if I'm on the block, like I'm probably going home. And then there was a couple days where I was like, honestly, I think I have the votes to stay. And it was just all over the place where I think honestly, if Riley would not have voted to evict me, I think I would have stayed. Because both Lauren and I think Ashley were both really close to keeping me in. I had a really long conversation with both of them, but I know Lauren specifically said that she didn't think I had the votes, and so she didn't want to be on the wrong side. And like people were just scared of being on the wrong side of the vote, which I think is I don't know, like cowardly. I don't know. But like people really did not want to be on the wrong side of the vote. And I think since they knew that Riley was going to vote to evict me, and I didn't know that, then that's why I lost a couple votes from that. But if I would have even had Riley and Lauren, that would have been enough right there to keep me in because I had the tiebreaker. So I was just shooting for 7.
And what was it like being evicted first and then immediately meeting Julie Chen on live TV?
It was cool. Like Julie's awesome. I mean, obviously, I wasn't like because I haven't watched the show for my whole life. It's not like I grew up like idolizing Julie Chen or anything like that. But she's a really nice lady. She's super cool. It's awesome to meet her and get to chat with her a little bit after.
And do you have any regrets from how you did in the first week? Is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
I mean, I think it's really easy to go back and like make a whole list of like a million different things that I could have done differently that would have kept me in the house longer. But honestly, I did the best that I could with what I knew at the time. And so I don't have any like regrets in that sense. Obviously, like there are little things in the competitions that like the Blockbuster competition, like I genuinely just misheard the rules. And like, it's so frustrating. I think about it all the time because like, I'm actually good at those word unscrambling things. But they told us 3 big screens with the words, and I don't know why. And you can watch the replay. It's like I just looked at the one screen. I thought they were all gonna be on that one screen. And I was just like so confused. I saw crown, and then I was like sitting there staring. I was like, "Where are the other 2 words? Like I have crown. I'm holding a crown right here, but like where are the other words?" And then as soon as Kelly buzzed in, I turned around and I see a giant like 50-foot screen with the word emerald on it. And I was like, "Wow!" I'm out because I didn't see a giant screen. So like I think about that a lot. There are certain things of like. I think part of the reason why I got put up is because Vinny and I were the last 2 to talk. Like he was the last one I talked with, and he just happened to be the first HOH. And I'd already like and it was like a couple hours after everyone was like chatting, and then we looked over and we like made eye contact. We were like, I was like, man, have I even met you yet, bro? Like, and then we met, But I think that was part of the reason I got put up on the block. So like meeting Vinny earlier, if I would have, since he was HOH, would have been huge. There's just so many little things that I could say, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. But in the reality of it is, I did the best with what I knew at the time.
And if you had survived that first week, what would your strategy have been going forward? Because you said you thought you would have had a deep run in you. What would have been your strategy?
I think I would have made a decent run. I mean, I would have been trying to win HOH because I didn't really care like about like what other people were saying. Oh, put this person up, put this person up. Like I already knew who I was going to put up. I already like had my targets. I already had my sides formed. I already had my allies. And so I mean, depending on obviously like. There's so many factors, like if Rachel would have won HOH next week, obviously I would have been on the block again. Or there's several people that I would have been on the block again. And so there's no way to 100% tell, like, oh, I would have placed, I would have gone a jury if I would have gone, because you never know. The game every week, such little things like whoever becomes HOH, like really determines who gets evicted, And so there's really no way to tell how I would have done. But you asked my game strategy. Again, I was gonna kind of go with the flow. I was gonna shoot for HOH. And if I didn't win HOH, depending on who won it, would have a million different strategies would have formed.
And what if you were the HOH the first week instead of Vinny? Who do you think your nominations would have been?
Ashley would have been one for sure because at that point, like nobody really had any reason to put anybody up. Like everyone was getting along super well. Everyone was super happy. It was all like the kumbaya, And I feel like that's how it usually is week 1. And so it's just kind of unfortunate when you do get on the block. But Ashley, I don't think the shower thing was a huge deal at the end of the day, but it was a reason. It was some sort of justification to put somebody up. So it would have been Ashley for sure. And then maybe I probably would have put up people I thought would have been floaters, like Amy probably would have gone up, even though I actually really liked Amy. But just people that I wasn't necessarily like scared. Like I don't feel like I would be scared of at any point in the game. Maybe Ava. I don't know. I actually don't know if it was if I won HOH because it was so early. I was still getting to know everybody. It probably just would have been the people that I didn't have as much connection with right off the bat. But there's no way to tell.
And even though the experience was short, what was your favorite part of the whole Big Brother experience?
Just meeting everyone was so cool. Like the cast is so sick. They picked the dopest people. And so it was so cool to just like, and like really people don't understand how much you get to know those people. Well, you're only in there for 10 days. You don't even know those people. Like, no, 1 week in there feels like a month or more hanging out with people like every day. Like, I really feel like I got to know those people really well. We bonded a lot. And I kept seeing them and hanging out with people in the cast for a long time. And so I think that was my favorite part of the whole experience, was just meeting everybody, getting to be there, getting to like experience yourself on TV. Like, that's a cool experience that I've never experienced before, and so it was so cool. And then obviously the fruits of everything that came after. Like, I think because of my experience on the show, hopefully I can use that in my future career, my future endeavors, and really benefit from it long term.
And you had joked about making Big Brother history as the first ever 17th placer. Has anyone pointed out to you that there's been a couple 17th placers before you?
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time. Honestly, that joke just like, I didn't even plan that joke. Like, it just kind of like came to me in the moment, and I was like, oh, that's kind of funny to say, like, because I was on the stage and she was like, I don't know, I just like said it, but then like, yeah, I saw some other stuff that like there have been 17, but like, were the others? I actually don't know this for sure. Were the other 17 like battle back people, right, or like other people that were introduced later on in the season?
No,
Or
it was
have
just
there been cast that 17 started?
Yeah, all 3 other occasions there's been 17. So.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess I misspoke then. I was not aware of that.
There was one occasion where there was a twin twist, and the twin didn't come until halfway. But the other 3 or 4 occasions, there was 17 starts. So.
Okay. So I guess I'm not the only person that's got 17th place, which makes me feel a little better. I'm not like the ultimate like worst Big Brother player ever.
So is there anyone who was really different on TV watching it back than they were in the house?
Honestly, I feel like most people, I feel like they capture the personality. They do a good job capturing our personalities and like really showing how we are. I would say everyone was pretty much like how they were. Like, I think some people maybe like play up a little bit for TV, when they know like certain stuff's gonna get clipped and put in the episodes. But I would say most people are pretty like real. Like, how they are is how they are.
And I saw you posted a FaceTime with Riley the other day that you quickly deleted. What was that about? Have you kept in touch with Riley?
Yeah, I mean, I like, again, like, I know everything that happened, and I don't necessarily necessarily agree with it all. It's obviously very like heated thing that everyone has opinions on. But like, my experience with Riley was like, I don't hate the guy. I don't think he has like super bad intentions or he's a bad person, and so I'm not gonna like shun him or anything like that. And so I did chat with him on FaceTime. I don't talk with him like every day, but I'll snap him here and there. And so I put up a story, but everyone was like really upset. I got a ton of DMs in the first like 10 minutes. It was like people like really mad at me for even talking with him. And I just didn't feel like dealing with all the negative comments, honestly. I just didn't feel like dealing with it. It's not because I'm ashamed of like still talking with Riley. Like, I think honestly people expect me to completely shun him. I think that's I don't know. I don't love that take. And again, it's hard to say anything online because people are gonna have varying opinions. But but uh but I just didn't feel like dealing with all the hate towards me because I was talking with him, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna try and stir the pot on something. I don't really like conflict, and so I don't want to put something up there that's very controversial. It's gonna cause a lot of people to have issues with me, and it was causing that, and so I just took it down. But on a personal level, like, yeah, I still keep in touch with Riley, and I'm not like necessarily ashamed of that. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else on that.
And how has he been since leaving the house? How's he taking everything in?
I mean, obviously it's a little difficult because like nobody knows what people are like saying about them when you're in the house. Like, you never know if people love you. You never know if every person hates you. And so but I think most people assume that people like them. I think that's a pretty general thing when you're in the house. Like nobody thinks people hate them. And so I think it's a little bit hard for him to see all the negativity towards him when I don't think he realized or like had the intention of doing negative, like being a bad, like, he doesn't think he's a bad person. And so I think it's hard for him to see all these people that do think he's a bad person or like that do hate on him a lot. It's obviously not easy for anybody to be in that situation. But like, I do think he's like getting through it. Like, I think he's okay from what I've told, but I also don't want to like share all his details or anything like that, publicly.
And I know the first 5 of you at least have a group chat. Was Riley or Catherine, have they been added to that yet?
Not yet. We actually just made it like as soon as Zach got, or we made one like we've kind of added it, changed it up every week. We actually have to make a new group chat every time we add somebody because Adrian has an Android, and so the texts like don't go through. So we have to we can't just add people to the group chat. So we have to make a whole new group chat. We haven't added Catherine or Riley. We haven't updated it, but I'm sure we will at some point and like get one with everybody in there. I would assume. I don't know. I wasn't the one who. Did I set it up? I don't think so. I don't think I made the group chat. I don't really remember.
And who did you bond with the most during your time in the house?
For sure, Zach. Zach and I were super close. We were just very, very similar in like a lot of different ways, and so we definitely were really tight. I was tight with Keanu as well, because again, like he's just like those two kind of remind me of my buddies from back home. Like they remind me of the guys I hang out with on a daily basis. So it's really easy to connect with them. And so I would say those two are the ones I connected with the most while I was in the house.
And what about outside of the house? Has that friendship with Zach carried on?
Yeah, I'm still friends with Zach. We snap. I chat with him. Obviously, we haven't met. Like, I haven't seen him in person since because we're on opposite sides of the country now. But yeah, I love Zach. He's a great guy. Like, obviously, it's hard doing being super tight when you're thousands of miles apart. But we keep in touch for sure.
And I saw you were hanging out with Matt and Mackenzie from last season. How was that?
Cool. They're great. They're awesome. I was in so when I first got back, I was in Kentucky visiting my family, and I was in touch with them, and it was like a 5-hour drive, and I was like, dude, let me just drive out there. Like, I had like an extra car that my parents let me use for a couple days, so I just drove out there one day and hung out with them for a couple days. They're great. They're amazing people, and it was kind of cool because Matt was in a similar situation to me, and it was hard to be the first one out and go home. And so it's cool to, get to chat with Matt, hear his perspective, get advice from him, and talk with Matt. So, and Mackenzie's awesome too. They're a great couple. So it was great to go back there.
And have you connected with any other alumni from past seasons?
Have I met them? I've DM'd a lot of them. I've chatted with a lot of them, like just like messaging and stuff like that. Met up with in person? No. I'm in Utah. Angela's in Utah. Maybe I'll go visit her one of these days. Because she's like literally like an hour away from me right now, and I'm always up in that area anyway. But I've not met up with any other alumni to this point.
Well,
we'll probably meet a lot of them at finale though, which I'm excited for.
Well, did you see that Zach and Angela were together? I don't know where they met up, but Zach and Angela were together the other day.
So I don't think I could be wrong. I actually could be wrong. I don't know if they were together, if they just made that TikTok, but they like just got the clips separately and then put them together. I don't know if they were actually together in person, but if they were, I would be offended if Zach was in Utah and he didn't say hi. But I think it was just like, I think he's still in Atlanta from what I understand.
And at the time that you were evicted, who did you think was going to win? Did you have a winner pick at the time that you left the house?
Yeah, my winner pick was either Morgan and then my second pick that like I was like maybe it was Vinny, because I felt like they were both just positioned really well. Morgan, she's really athletic. Maybe it didn't look like it in the wall comp, but she is actually really athletic. And like she's a threat. Like people were saying I was a threat, but she's really a threat. Like she's smart. She's strategic. She's athletic. She has all those characteristics, but people aren't really a threat. And so I felt like Morgan had a pretty good run, would make a good run. I felt like Vinny was well positioned because being the first HOH, like everyone wants to be your best friend. People were low key kissing ass a little bit and being a little like, as soon as he won HOH, everyone just wanted to make Vinny food, bring him stuff. It was like a little I don't know, but he just had a lot of friends in the house, and so I think that's why he made a lot of final twos. And so I feel like he was in a pretty good position as well if he leveraged it right, and I feel like he's leveraged it pretty decently.
And I know Adrian and a lot of the house is really excited for the wall comp. How do you think that you would have done on the wall comp?
I weigh like 215, 220, so that's a lot of weight to hold up. But I am like very competitive with physical stuff. Like I don't really like losing, so I have no idea how I would have done. Honestly, I like to think for my size, I would have done pretty good. But again, it's one of those things like you really never know till you're in that moment, because I thought I would do really good at competitions. Like I really did. Because I am as far as like puzzles and things like that, I'm really good at that kind of stuff, but I fumbled in the moment. Like there's a lot of pressure on you. It's just a different environment. And so it's like easy for me to say like, yeah, I think I would have done okay at the wall comp for someone who does weigh a lot. But you never know until you're in that moment. I don't know 100%.
Have you seen any competitions on the show that you're like, oh, if I was there for that one, I would have won that one?
I mean, I think like a lot of them that I see, like I'm just like, dang, like I would love to be in that. Like I feel like I would do well, especially a lot of the physical ones. I think I would, do really well at. I think that's one of my strong suits. A lot of the puzzle ones, I like to think I would do well, but then again, like when I was in there, I had the chance and I fumbled, on the puzzle ones. The one the Vito one that I actually did participate in, that's the kind of puzzle, that's kind of competition that I see, and I'm like, okay, I would be bad at this one because I'm terrible at attention to detail, terrible. But usually most like the unscrambling ones, puzzle ones, any sort of physical one, stuff like that. Usually when I see them, I'm just like, man, like that's my comp right there. Like I have that in the bag. But then again, like, yeah, but it's just hard to know. In the moment, it's so different.
And you were right when you said that nobody would have the guts to target Rachel. We're over 6 weeks later, and nobody's even put her on the block yet. What do you make of that?
Right? I think that's ridiculous. Like, she hasn't even been on the block. Like, are people really that scared of her? Because not like she's really winning that many competitions from what I've seen. It's not like she's that much of a threat, in my opinion. But people act like she's just because she won the game that she's like, they're like, oh, if I put her up, like, I'm going home. And it's just like this scared mentality, and I hate it. And I wish I was still in there because I wouldn't be scared to make moves on people. Just in general, I wouldn't be scared to make a play to make people mad. And but people are like, they're just playing such a safe game, and they're kind of playing scared a little bit. A lot of the people in the cast, and it's just like, it's sad. It's sad to see because someone needs to put Rachel up. Someone has to. Or she's just going to coast all the way to top 2 and probably win again, And I called it, but I do think someone's got to put her up soon. Like, I think it's going to get to that point where people are like, all right, and I do think if she's on the block, I do think that she, in a lot of cases, would go home. Because I think but I think nobody wants to be the one that makes the shot. And I would have been that one to make the shot. I tried to tell people that, hey, keep me in. It takes the pressure off your back. And you're not the one having to put her up. I'll be the one that puts her up. And I thought that might be enough to get me a couple votes, but it wasn't. Like, they just didn't care. And now I think a lot of people probably regret it. But it is what it is.
And do you still feel the same frustration towards Rachel now, or has your perspective on her game changed at all?
No, honestly, it hasn't really changed. Like, I genuinely, I don't know, if she just kind of puts on a front for TV. Like, I can't tell if that's how she actually is. Because that's how she was in the house. Is how I see her still, for the most part. But no, I really, genuinely, I just think that a lot of the things that she says or does are just very childish and very immature, and she just likes to make a scene and cause drama, and I don't like that. I really don't like drama. I don't like conflict. I don't like that kind of stuff. And she's somebody that does. She thrives off of fighting other people and arguing with other people, and I hate that. It's somebody that's the kind of person that I just don't like being around, if I'm being honest. And yeah, I'll probably get a lot of hate for that because I know she's one of the most well-liked people on the show, but I don't really care. Because that's just how that's just genuinely how I feel about it. She's just kind of a difficult person to be around. But at the same time, there's maybe a chance that she's just kind of doing it a little bit, trying to just do a little bit too much for TV, and maybe she's super cool and outside of the game. I have no idea. So I have an open mind towards it. If she's cool in person, outside of the whole TV aspect, sweet. I'll be homies with, I don't even know how we'd be I don't feel like we have that much in common. But I wouldn't have any issues with her. But that's how she really is. Then how she acted in the house, I don't know. I do have kind of issues with somebody who likes to stir stuff up a lot.
And who do you think that you could see being America's favorite player?
Probably Keanu at this point, I would say. Because he's my favorite to win right now. Because he's a dope guy. He's so chill. He, stands on business. He's not scared to make plays. He's fun to watch. He's entertaining. He's funny. I don't see. I mean, maybe Ava. I could maybe see Ava. I know people really like Ava. People like Will too. I could see that. Probably one of those 3. But I want to say Keanu.
And has there been any big surprises if you're watching Big Brother 27 as a fan now?
Any big surprises?
Is this your first season watching live, or did you watch 26 live?
No, I never watched. I never even watched any episodes until April, this last April. Let's see. So I never watched live. I actually still haven't really watched too much live. I'll see a lot of clips and stuff. I don't really tune in on the live cams on the daily. For me, it's some people start saying, and I have no issue with it. But for me, it's I get bored just watching them talk and stuff. I'm like, dang, I want to be in there in the conversation too. I don't want to just watch it. But Yeah, honestly, I would say like the what surprised me the most about watching it from the outside is how much they do capture like on the live cams, like how many little things, like how many people are really tuning into that, and how polarizing it is. Like it's crazy. Like any little thing that happens, there'll be a million comments, and everyone's like, some people are like, oh, this person's the worst, I hate this person, like, and some people are like, oh, this person's the best, I love this person. And it's kind of interesting to see like how different perspectives every single person has about everyone in the house, and how much love and hate there is in the community. Like, was not expecting it, had no idea, but people are passionate and they're very opinionated.
Yeah, and on that topic about Riley, Julie said to him in his interview that we heard you say you want to marry Catherine, and Riley said, I didn't know you heard that, but we hear everything you guys say, so.
It's crazy. It's crazy, like the little things, like when you're in the house, really, like it doesn't really feel like you're being recorded all the time. Like you see the cameras, they'll move around, you'll see them on you, but because you're not seeing what's being videoed, it doesn't really feel real, if that makes sense. It gets like a weird, like little, like it feels like you're in like a little alternate universe almost. So it's weird to go out and then see yourself on the camera, see all these clips of yourself, and be like, wow. Like that really happened. Like they weren't lying when they said that they had 24/7 cams. Like that's weird. Like people could watch me sleep. It's kind of crazy, but it was super cool though.
And what did you think when you found out that Amy was the accomplice?
Honestly, I kind of kicked myself a little bit because it just made perfect sense that she was. Because if Rachel's coming in and she's kind of that mom persona, they're both women. Like it just makes more sense. And I think a lot of people were calling me like sexist for saying that, but like it just makes sense. Like there's 9 women and 8 guys. Like it makes sense that the accomplice would be a woman. It's nothing, not sexist at all, but like it just makes logical sense that they would have. If we find out who the accomplice is, it would even it back down to the 8 and 8, and the mom figure too.
Yeah, Lauren had mentioned that exact same point, that there were 9 women and 8 men. So did you think that along the lines while you were in the house? Because you voted for Riley.
Yeah, honestly, like it was such a blur in that moment because it was like right after we walked in. We walked in, we're still learning everybody's names, and they dropped that on us, and it was like I didn't even know how to react. It was like such a weird I didn't even know. Like my brain was just like so like overwhelmed, overstimulated that like I couldn't think logically. Honestly, I think it's really easy from the outside perspective, looking back, especially to say like it makes sense that it's a woman. It makes sense that it's a mother figure. It makes sense, all this stuff. But I think that because just because of the situation we were in, and there's so much going on, and like you've been leading up to this moment of meeting the cast for months. You've been crammed in a hotel room, like you're so excited to meet them that it's like a lot of logic just goes right out of your brain. Like you can't think straight when you're in the moment. And so I do think that if Lauren wouldn't have been so quiet about that opinion, it's a very smart opinion, makes a good point. If she would have told that to me, I would have been like, wow, that's a great point. Maybe we should roll off of that. But like, I think she was just kind of like, she was too scared to like say it to everybody. She like said it to like a small group I saw, but like she didn't like, if I would have thought of that, I would have been telling everybody, yo, it's got to be her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but she was like very quiet about it.
And why do you think some house guests pinned it on you?
It's actually kind of funny. I mean, I think I looked like I guess the feel side is that looked a little bit suspicious, and then like, which I don't know. I'm like the kind of guy like if somebody like blames something on me, even if I didn't do it, like I look suspicious. I'm like, whoa, guys, I don't know. But and then I was kind of like joking around. Like I just like joke around a lot, and like low-key got taken the wrong way a little bit. Where I think it was Ashley turned around. She's like, are you the accomplice? And I was like, I don't know, am I? Because I thought it was such a dumb question. I'm not gonna lie, because like if I was the accomplice, like why would I say yes, And so I thought like I was safe no matter what I said. And so I was kind of joking around, like being sarcastic. I was like, I don't know, am I? And then I just saw everybody look at me, and they were like, you're not saying no? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like I was kidding. And then they were like, but you didn't say no at first. Like maybe it's you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like are you kidding me? Like is this the reason I go home is because I joked around? And so they actually didn't portray that in the episode. They didn't show that part. But that was a big reason why people thought I was the accomplice, was because I had said that to Ashley just as a dumb little joke, and then it got taken the wrong way.
And was people thinking you were the accomplice? Do you think that had anything to do with why you were on the block as well?
A little bit, yeah, which is unfortunate because it's just, again, at that point, everyone's getting along so well. Any little reason is enough reason to go up on the block. And so if people think I'm the accomplice, then, that's right there is enough reason. That's one easy pick for him to put up on the block. And so just, again, it was so unfortunate that it happened like that. Like, if anything, like I wish I would have gotten more votes for the accomplice. And then they would have found out it wasn't me. And then probably Riley would have been on the block in my place. It's just like so unfortunate how everything played out just in the perfect way for me to go home week 1.
So who do you think is playing the best game right now?
Who's playing the best game right now? I mean, I want to say Will's in a pretty good spot right now. Like, really, nobody's. If anything, he's kind of like borderline floater in some ways. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad take. But like he's just kind of hanging in there. You know, nobody's really suspecting him. He's not really doing too much. Like he's not really. He hasn't been HOH. He hasn't been like really winning any crazy competitions or like really stirring the pot, and so he's just kind of hanging in there. He's just living in the house. But and you know people like him, people trust him, and nobody's really targeting him. So I think for sure, at least I think at some point they're gonna take him out just when it's convenient for them. But right now he's just kind of hanging in there and chilling. So I would say Will's playing a good game.
And so you'd mentioned that Morgan and Vinny were two people you saw as a winner when you left. Do you still think that they could be potential winners? Who do you want to win, and who do you think is going to win?
Who I want to win is Keanu, because he's my dog, and also I just like the way he plays. Like he's not scared to take shots. Like he's not playing like a passive game. Like I like that he's like telling Vinny to his face. Like I saw a lot of clips about that. Like this is why I'm putting you up. Like if you need to go home as an example, this is how it's going to be. I like that. That's the game I wanted to play. And so that's the one Keanu's one I resonate most with on that. And so I want to see Keanu win. If I got to choose. And then who do I think will win? Oh, it's so hard to tell because it just it just comes down to like who wins HOH at this point, because I feel like people know who they're gonna put up if they win. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna back it up and say I think Keanu will win at this point. Like that might be a hot take because I do think there's several people that would get him out if they had the chance, but I just think that he's good enough in the competitions where it'll be hard to take him down, even if people want to take him down. And I think a lot of people might not want to put him up on the block because they know he's going to take himself off, and then they don't want to like stir the pot and make him an enemy. So I think Keanu makes a good run. I could see Keanu winning.
Are you ultimately happy that you got evicted pre-jury and you got to come back home, or would you have liked to have been evicted in the jury and make it to the jury house?
No, I wanted to go as long as I could. Like it was really hard. Like obviously at this point, like I'm looking at the positive. There's a lot of positives that have come from me getting out early. I'm having more time. I still got to experience the show, but I'm also having time to kind of set myself up for the after the show part. But man, I would have loved to have made it as far as I could, and I think the jury house would have been a cool experience. There's like so many things that I feel like I kind of missed out on. But it is what it is.
And we saw Riley and Catherine get into showmance. We saw that Zach and Lauren and Morgan had like a little triangle. Was there any girls that caught your interest in the house?
I think Lauren's really pretty. But not particularly. I didn't really want to showmance. I wanted to go in and just like play for as long as I could, even though it didn't work out. I might as well have gotten into showmance, because I was getting out anyway. But I would say out of anybody, probably Lauren was the girl I was most attracted to. But yeah, I wasn't even really thinking about a showmance like when I was in there. I really wasn't. Didn't really cross my mind. But because I was just there to like try and just play. And I think that's how Lauren's kind of playing. Like, I don't think she really wanted to show me. She was there to play. I think we both had similar mindsets on that.
And going through this experience, did you learn anything new about yourself?
I feel like I learned like a million new things about myself, just like in general. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. This is a good question. Did I learn anything new about myself? I guess I learned that in a lot of ways, I'm in control of my emotions. Like I've never really had anything like that's been such a letdown in some ways. Like I don't know how to say it, but like just all this anticipation of going in the house, expecting to be there till October, all of this stuff, all this emotion built around this whole like experience, and then getting out first. I come home, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life, because like everything I planned was like, okay, in October, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm just back, and I'm like, whoa, like, this is crazy. But like, I feel like I've chosen to have a positive outlook on everything, and I feel like I've learned that about myself because I've never had an opportunity to really experience that, and I feel like I have now. And so I think that was one big thing that I learned is like you really can make the most of your situation regardless of your situation, and you can choose to be happy or you can choose to be upset. And I think it's always pretty much better to choose a positive outlook on stuff, even when stuff really goes the exact opposite of how you expect it to go. And so I think that's one of the things that I've learned, kind of taken away from the experience, I would say.
And would you play Big Brother again? If CBS ever did a first boot season, would you want to return and rewrite your story?
Yes, I would love for them to do that and like get my redemption. And then again, if I get out first on that season, I'm done. I'm never trying again, because that's my sign that I suck at reality TV. But I really do think, like, if they did a first boot season, like, I think I can make a good run, and I think I would have a lot of fun doing it. And so yeah, I would love nothing more than to, you know, get a call from CBS inviting me back to any sort of thing that they do.
On season 22, the All-Star season, they brought back the first boot from season 21. So who knows? They could even bring you for an All-Star season. So,
hey, I mean, if they want it, that'd be awesome. I mean, I think usually they bring back people that were like fan favorites, you know, that lasted a long time in the house. But if they want to bring me back, I'm there.
and we already talked about The Amazing Race. Is there any other shows you'd be interested in doing? Would you be interested in The Challenge or Survivor or
Any of them? I think I just loved, like, doing the show. It was just something different. It was a unique experience. I thought it was so sick. I would, like, literally any show they called me for, I would drop whatever I'm doing and be there in a heartbeat.
And do you have any advice for future house guests who might find themselves in a tough position early in the game?
Oh, I mean, win when you got to win, I guess. Like, I mean, it really, like, it is in your control in a lot of ways. As far as competitions go, like, if you're on the block and you don't like it, win the blockbuster. You know, and I think it seems like the blockbuster is going to be a more permanent thing, and on future seasons as well. Is the idea, is what from what I understand, and so it gives you a lot more control in your hands. Like, if you don't like where you're at, win competitions, and nobody can send you home if you don't lose. You know, every person that went home is because they lost the blockbuster. And so I would say, like, sometimes there's a lot of things you can't control, but control what you can control.
And do you have any upcoming projects or events that you'd be excited to share with your fans?
Yeah, I'm actually, so my next step is I'm in the process of getting personal trainer certified, because fitness has always been like my life. Like, I've loved fitness. And so I want to start taking on, like, doing one-on-one, like, personal training clients, and it's hopefully launch that around finale. And so I've been working hard at trying to get certified. That way I have the credentials. You know, I think your biggest credential is your physique. And I do feel like I've worked really hard on my physique over the years to show that, like, I do know what I'm talking about. But I think it would be nice to have a piece of paper that, you know, backs it up as well, that shows that I do know what I'm talking about. And so working on like how I want to do my programs. So if people want to get in good shape, then I would love to, you know, have them as clients and personal train them.
All right, Zae, thank you so much for joining me today. It's great catching up with you and getting your thoughts on the game, and wishing you the best in whatever's next. I know the fans are rooting for you to get redemption one day.
Hey, thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the interview and your time.
All right.